And I had just a phone call from Saint Laurent to tell me that he wants to have the shoulders more like a matador. It means was a...
He's changing now, 1 hour before you have to deliver.
No, he insists to have the volume that he would like to have.
This is couture, after all, where the attention to detail is uncompromising.
There is so many stitches that sometimes it comes in. Then to write it in the right shape, we must steam it and paste it and deliver it.
Piece by piece, the dress is dispatched
Les manches.
and rushed across Paris. Another section completed. Saint Laurent's tailors and seamstresses will spend the rest of the night sewing the embroidery onto the dress. It will be placed on a mannequin, tailored, lined, and finished just as it was 30 years ago. For the man who identifies with Proust, this recreation is a poignant remembrance of things past. But will Saint Laurent himself be too exhausted to make it to the show? Berger looks anxious.
C'est en ordre?
Berger and Saint Laurent have been together since the early 60s, and in a sense, the coupling of the sort of shrewd, sane, sensible business brain, i.e. Berger, and Saint Laurent is the sort of tortured, flaky, créateur who's the esprit of the business. I mean, that's very typical in fashion. But Berger and Saint Laurent, to an extent, are the quintessence of that.
You are just wonderful, thank you very much.
People make much of their differences.
I'm a Scorpio. He's a lion. He is shy. I would say aggressive. I know business. He doesn't know. He's an artist. I'm not.
Yet few people realize Pierre Berger was once an aspiring artist himself, but has thrown all his creative energies into making Yves Saint Laurent the force in French fashion, ruthlessly banning people from shows if they didn't give Yves Saint Laurent sufficient prominence, masterminding publicity and business with astonishing skill. 30 years later, what started as just dresses has become the prestigious grand finale to Paris Couture Week. The wealthy, the powerful, the political will all be there, signifying the importance of Yves Saint Laurent as a cultural force in France and a huge business. Yet this is also a gathering of what Yves calls his fidèles, his faithfuls, his family. A tightly knit coterie who have been there since the beginning, all recognizing the anxiety and emotion which fashion has become for him.
One of the most touching things when you go to the couture, we're talking of couture not ready to wear, and there are curtains and masses of flowers, and there is a little hole, and through it you can see an anxious eye, which is Yves Saint Laurent's eye, and he's anxiously waiting to see the right bottoms go on those seats. Then it starts. Pierre Berger comes out with a great flourish and sort of throws everyone, you know, people are on the catwalk talking, throws everyone away, and it starts.
Way down on the levee in old Alabama, there's Daddy and Mammy, there's Eve and Sammy on a moonlight night. You can find them all while they're away.
Couture is just a laboratory for new ideas. I mean, so people can experiment and work with beautiful fabrics. I mean, this is what the couture is. It's an anachronism in our time, and yet it still gives a challenge.
I think that that couture is very special. To me, it's a major investment, and I'll bring out things that I have since years, and I feel that they're close friends of mine.
First of all, everything is lined in satin, so that already helps. And then, yes, it feels great. Obviously, everything is fitted to your own body, so that helps.
in fashion terms, in leading edge fashion terms, he hasn't been there for years. And arguably there's wonderful tailoring, and so all the sort of classical facets of French fashion, the tailoring, the look, the elegance are there. But as for new ideas or being avant-garde or coming up with anything funky or leading edge, I mean, forget it. That hasn't happened since the 70s.
Mais qu'est-ce qu'ils ont à part nous dire?
Before I started doing the collections, he was a big name to me, and I was really excited to see an Yves Saint Laurent show. And then I was so disappointed when I actually saw one, because it's a big crush. You go in there, you sit down, and then this girl walks on in what looks like Simplicity Patterns 1976, and you have this running order, and it's pages and pages long, and over the sort of loudspeaker somebody says, "Number 1, numéro 1." And then she walks down on her own, and she walks back, and that's taken a good 5 minutes because it's a long catwalk. And then you'd flick through, and you realise you've got 173 outfits to see of this.
Including number 84, the result of hundreds of hours of intensive labor.
He works in the old tradition of couture, which was a very slow-moving, developing and honing of ideas.
Few were aware that they were watching a dress that was created 30 years ago.
My way tonight, I'll say you in my dreams.
Vous avez laqué tout l'environnement.
We've always read, we've always heard, this is the end of Eve. Eve's not going to make it this time. Someone else is doing it for him. But yet every time there he is.
I would think he might die, he might walk down the catwalk and expire, and if I'm not there and I haven't got the story, I'll be sacked.
The hot fashion story way back in the 60s was that in the name of Yves Saint Laurent, the partners had a fashion marketing revolution in store. In 1966, abandoning the right bank, traditional home of the Parisian bourgeoisie, Yves Saint Laurent crossed the river to the traditional home of the bohemian, opening the first ready-to-wear boutique, calling it pointedly Rive Gauche, left bank.
Rive Gauche is very important for me because it's my new way to see fashion.
Je pense que l'avenir, c'est le prêt-à-porter, parce que c'est l'avenir, c'est une chose nouvelle, c'est une chose pleine d'espoir et pleine de nouveautés. Mais c'est pas l'avenir sur un plan d'argent.
Perhaps not, but a brilliant plan to widen the customer base at a stroke, providing for the first time a designer's creations off the rack. Ready to wear now brings in $100 million annually.